was your overlooked / surprise contributor for the Cowboys this season? 877-881-1053, as clearly the Cowboys season is over. And we're still a good 10 days away from the Super Bowl. Who jumps to mind for you guys? Because there was 4 guys I'm not sure which one of these Cowboys players to pick.
I mean, I think my 2 I have 2 of them. They're on the offensive line. Terence Steele, you didn't know like how good of a run blocker he was until there were no more combo blocks from him and Zach Martin. But I thought Tyler Biotish was. Yeah. I mean, I heard G-Bag say it a couple of different times. That was their most improved player on the team this year. And so I think that Tyler Biotish, the center position, goes very unnoticed, very unsung hero type thing. And I think that Tyler Biotish was he was the centerpiece for it. You were better whenever you had him on the field, and he's finally grown into that spot. I hope that he's around for a very long time for this team, because it's really nice to have a player at that position that the snaps are clean. The blocks are there, and he grew into it very well this year. So I'm going to go with old Tyler Badass.
If we could stick with him for just a second, I definitely think you're right about the surprise factor for Terence Steele, but I was glad as the season went along, it felt like he got his due. You know what I'm saying? Like, it felt like enough people were like, holy crap, we were smart to get rid of La'el Collins for Terence Steele. Tyler Biotish, I don't feel from a lot of places got that love and appreciation. So I think Tyler Biotish can fit in both of those categories. That was one of the people that jumped into my mind for sure. I think that's a great selection.
Yeah, and the Terence Steele part of it too is that the run blocking was effective. When you started, people were like, hold on, why are they running for big yards right now? And that's whenever people really started to say, okay, what's the reason that these numbers are doing this? Why is Tony Pollard breaking free? And that's because Terence Steele and Zach Martin were doing something special over there. But Biotish, I think just because of the growth, we had Travis Frederick for a long time, and he was so good at what he did, and then you just kind of expected, well, the center position, it's just going to step back in there. It takes a little time, but I thought Biotish really cleaned that up for us this year.
This is a good question because a lot of people have entered my mind. I'll lean towards Leighton Vander Esch. I think yesterday, as people were complaining about Leighton maybe not making plays behind the line of scrimmage, I just think Leighton Vander Esch had a really good year. Yeah. And I don't know how much long-term money he's going to get, because I'm sure teams are worried about his injury history, but I think somebody's going to give him a pretty good short-term contract that I just don't know if the Cowboys are going to be willing to match because of the injury history.
Did you also feel like then, to Mike's answer, it took a long time for people to appreciate that? And part of it is because of how much baggage comes along with LVE, but I feel like it took a long time. Even when he was playing well, I still heard like, yeah, his plays are made so far away from the line of scrimmage. And I felt like for a lot of the season, people were like, meh.
There were a lot of times where people would have one play that they would be like, see, that's Leighton Vander Esch. And then you're like, but you just missed like 90% of the other plays where you didn't even think about his name being involved because nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, but nothing great happened. And you're like, man, but that's the great players are doing the great things. He needs to do certain things in the middle that stop and stuff and keep things from happening while the other elite stars are pressuring. This guy's taking advantage of it. So, yeah, I don't think I ever really truly appreciate LV enough. Honestly, I was wondering if Deron Bland falls in the name for you, Kevin.
Yeah, from the 4.69, that I definitely think that's a fair point, because, man, as much as we lament about missing a cornerback, like I totally get all that. What if Deron Bland was Joseph or Wright? Like, what would everybody have thought then? Okay, great. Just you put whoever the hell you want across from Trayvon Diggs. We don't care, because we're going to spray all across the rest of the field and make you look foolish. Mm-hmm. And so, like, I get it with all of the injuries is people harped about their cornerbacks. But if Deron Bland is no good, holy crap, do you have a lot of problems.
Yeah, man. And to the point that you're actually feeling pretty confident at the position next year because of the way that he played. Now, and do you move on from Anthony Brown? And Jordan Lewis comes back, and where does he land on all these things? So there are a lot of questions about what you can do because Deron Bland stepped up. Whereas, Kevin, they were hoping that it would be Ryder Joseph that would be that next guy up. And so now those guys, when it comes to competing for a spot next year, they have to fight. Otherwise, they're spending another year on special teams.
Or maybe not here at all. No,
exactly.
I'm with you. I know the Cowboys have a really good draft record as of late. I can't help but think, Corey, I'm like, okay, hold on. You have Trayvon Diggs. He's obviously awesome, except for tackling sometimes. And then you feel good about Deron Bland. Jordan Lewis will be coming back with one more year in his contract. And Joseph and Wright are – I'm not even saying you have to be, like, really good. If they're solid, you're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
We've got some depth. See you later, Anthony Brown. Thank you again for all of your time. Okay, now also in the defensive backfield, I've seen this name from the 817-214, another 817, Donovan Wilson. I feel like Donovan Wilson is
he's your hero.
I do like Donovan Wilson. But, there you go. But I do feel like at least Donovan Wilson got the love that maybe some of these people didn't. Like, I'm with you. I don't think LVE always got the love. We got another person coming up in just a second that definitely didn't get the love outside of the Metroplex. But
Dak.
I feel like Donovan Wilson got the love and appreciation for what he does. So much so that when he leaves, I think it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
You think he's leaving?
I do.
Why?
He's a free agent?
I just think he's going to be too rich, or he's going to end up making more money than the Cowboys, I guess, traditionally seem to, or generationally seem to value this position.
Do you think he'll be the same player anywhere else that he is here?
No, absolutely I won't, because I push for Donovan Wilson because, and I know some people have been like, oh, he's not the greatest cover guy. I can concede that for sure. But the way they use him as a blitzer as well, I think is astonishing. The way he goes at every tackle like it's the game-winning Super Bowl tackle
yes.
is kind of terrifying. I do not think he will be as effective, just like I don't think Jaron Kearse would be the same level of effectiveness, which is why, I like having him here.
Yeah, and I mean, that's like what you're saying about this roster. Now, do I believe Dan Quinn and Will McClay can work together to find more pieces that can do some of these things that they want to do? Absolutely, because Dan Quinn took Jaron Kearse and has done what he's done with him and made him a mismatch. He's taken Micah and said, you know what, I thought this guy would be a good linebacker. Let's make him an edge. Then you have all these other little pieces that you're like, oh, I thought we could do this, but he saw something different in them. So maybe I think Dan Quinn gets the love too. I was trying to think of coaches, Kevin, that didn't get the love that they deserve.
Our ex-offensive line coach.
Yeah, I kind of throw Al Harris in that mix too, working with the secondary. Across the board, turning Trayvon Diggs into a different cornerback. Bland growing into what he was. So I think maybe Al Harris hasn't gotten as much love yet, but he'll start to get it soon.
This is the person
What about Jerry Jones?
No, stop it.
Not enough credit, Mike. I think you got a good point
he
here.
Didn't ruin. Look, I mean, the Eagles are ruined 2 to 3 years from now by trading for A.J. Brown and signing good free agents. Where the Cowboys in 2026 are looking great for the future.
I mean, which is so dumb, too. Because
Eagles only have 2 first-round picks this year.
I hate that argument, too, because you know what? This Dallas Cowboys team cannot win more than 5 games for the next 8 years if they win the Super Bowl next year. It'll suck, but I'll be like, you know what? It's all worth it. From the 214, I thought you might pick this one, Mike. I really did.
Okay, I had other people in mind, so I'm interested if they read my brain.
Tyler Smith was very surprising. We were all questioning him as a first-round pick, and he proved himself. And, Corey, I don't know if you're like this, too. I do not feel at all that Tyler Smith outside of the Metroplex got any love.
No, I think we looked at all the sites that were suggesting, here's Rookie of the Year, here's your best rookies this year, and Tyler Smith, who got thrust into multiple different positions and multiple roles on this team, nationally wasn't getting talked about. And
one guy did. Didn't Baldinger come on the Fan and talk about how he's a beast, and they got another great lineman in the first round? So I think there was. To your point, Corey, you're right, but I just remember Baldy coming on, and he was the one guy who gave him love.
And it's just like, we talked about this time and again. If you told me going back Tyron Smith's going to be hurt. About like a week and a half before the season, Tyler Smith's going to pop out at left tackle. I'd have been like, oh, crap.
Well, and I mean, even take that back further. Day of draft, how many people were like, can't wait for this guy to get on the field? A lot of people were like, hold on, what? Who? Where?
Yeah.
Tulsa? What? And it was
the
constant,
guard?
like all the holdings. Like we just drafted another holding king, and then he goes out there and he still had penalties. He looked like a rookie at times, but he was if you can say that that's going to be an anchor of your offense for a long time, I'm feeling pretty good with his physicality and his ability to go forward.